With the following revision, moving agenda item 17 to after agenda 10.
Second.
Motion by Ann, seconded by Bridget, to approve tonight's published agenda with the amendment of moving item 17 to follow item 10. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
That motion is approved. And we do not have any requests for public input on the published agenda. We'll move directly into the recognition item. And I believe, Jana, you have an introduction.
Yes. Shan Yu, you can come and sit up there. I have Shan Yu Chandana. He is an 8th grader at Onalaska Middle School. And just a couple stats before he tells you about his experience. He took 2nd in the OMS spelling bee, and he got out on the word torpor, which means state of confusion. He got 1st at the regional spelling bee, which was at CISA 4, and he won on the word silhouette. And then he got 3rd at the state spelling bee and got out on the word protozoan. So I'll let him talk about his experience, but we're super excited that he's representing Onalaska Middle School.
Hi, it means a lot that I'm here today, and I'm grateful that I'm going to be able to share my experience about how the state spelling bee was and what I did to come to this part. So when I first found out that I got qualified for the OMS spelling bee, I wasn't very into spelling at that time, but it kind of gave me some motivation to just try. We'll see what happens, right? So I studied a bit and up to that reading day, and to my surprise, I got 2nd. So that really drove me to try harder for the regional spelling bee. So I created an app through this application called Coder, and I entered a program where I could review words that I missed from the main app that I use, which is called Word Club. So using that, I would study basically every day for at least 2 hours, just trying to get all of those words into my mind, getting those patterns, all of the word prefixes, suffixes, and just try my best to keep all of that in my brain by the time that the spelling bee comes. So that day, I was very, very nervous. I had no idea what I was going up against, but the longer I went, the easier it got. And I'd say that the more strength that I got through completing it, I felt more successful through my endeavor, and I thought that, oh, this wasn't just for nothing. So when I got 1st, I was ecstatic. I was all over the place, but the first thing that came to my mind is I have to try to get a good place in the state spelling bee. So I did the same thing again, and as I came to that day, I took a dime that I flipped the very day after after I won the CISA 4 regional spelling bee, and I put it all onto luck, because a lot of the words that you get, it's not just how much you study or how much you know about that specific topic, because words are everywhere. There's so many words. But I didn't know some words, but I just had to leave it to luck. So I flipped a dime on that day, and in my eyes, if I got heads, then I would get a good place. If I got tails, I would get an okay place, but I'd still manage with it. I did get heads, so I was excited, and that got me pushing forward. So while people were going out and out, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna leave on the last 5 places, and now I'm here in the top 10. And my brain's racing. I'm shaking, and my legs moving uncontrollably. But I go to the last words, where 1st place is picked before 2nd. So it's just me and another kid from Middleton, I'm assuming. And that was a long run, too. I felt very nervous, but after I got out on the word protozoan, I didn't feel totally sad, because getting to this point meant a lot more for me than just a place and a spelling bee. It felt like recognition for our city and recognition for Wisconsin, which is definitely a great thing. Thank you.
Hey, really great story. I like. So sometimes the journey is, worth the effort, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes more valuable than the result. But I think that's an important lesson. The other one I was really struck by, like the use of technology, right?
Yeah.
To what a great use of emerging tech, right? To
Yeah.
like create a study guide for yourself. I mean, like we could all use a little bit of that, right? That's pretty awesome. So, just my reflections. Anybody else have anything else? Any other questions?
What was the word you got out on? Proto?
The word in the state spelling bee I got out on is protozoan.
Can you spell it?
Yeah. Protozoan.
I was gonna say, you'll never not spell that word again.
Exactly, yeah. It's always in your mind.
Well, you're quite an impressive guy, and you're involved in a lot of different things. Can you share with the board some of the other things that you're into?
Yeah, I'm very into music. I regularly are in musical programs like theater, show choir, band, orchestra. It's just a lot of different things that I go around in. I also really love sports, and I'm playing tennis right now for the season, and I recently just finished basketball and cross country. But yeah, I mean, hopefully there's more things to come in high school. There's a lot more experiences and opportunities waiting.
For sure.
I want to thank you for coming tonight to share your story. We don't often get to hear that, so we appreciate you and you have a very good presence. I have no doubt the future is looking very bright for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, that was exciting. Let's move now into our informational and discussion items. And first up, we'll have Mr. Richard Moses with a recap on the recent choir trip to New York City. Richard, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. First, let me tell you what all happened on the trip. We had Ready Bus as our coach people. We had hotel accommodations with pool and gym. We had 4 breakfasts, 5 dinners at different restaurants, 5 Broadway show, Death Becomes Her, MJ, Maybe Happy Ending, The Great Gatsby, and the Buena Vista Social Club, all different styles, so something for everybody. Did a lot of sightseeing. We went to the top of the rock. Kids went shopping. Their favorite store seemed to be FAO Schwartz or the M&M store. We went to the American Museum of Natural History, which I was actually kind of amazed that so many students, that was what they were most excited about going to, was to see the dinosaurs and all the different stars and stuff. We went to the 9/11 Memorial Museum, which was somber, and then we did a Broadway workshop where cast members from The Great Gatsby worked with us the morning before we saw the show, so it was really a great connection to actually do the opening chorus and sing songs, and some kids learned how to stage combat, so I got to see the students slap each other and choke each other and grab them by the hair. It was a lot of fun. We did all this for $1,500, and it was probably one of our best trips we've ever done. The students were fantastic. They were very cheery and good-natured. We had no major issues at all. The chaperones were absolutely incredible. Many were experienced NYC travelers, which makes things smoother, and they were more knowledgeable about procedures, directions, student management, and just how to get to 43rd Street, that sort of thing. Our bus company and drivers were the best we've ever had. And just to see how things can change in 12 years, we took Ready Bus 12 years ago, and my colleague at the time, she put together a document and said, "Not Ready Bus Company," and listed all the things that went wrong. And this time, it was the exact opposite. We never got lost. We never ran out of gas. We never broke down. Well, last time we had a bus run out of gas or break down. That's where I learned that you actually use cow urine as one of the ingredients in a bus company. What is it called? I can't remember the name of it, but there's a separate thing they put in, because in New Jersey, they have to pump your gas. Anyway, that's off the point. But I learned something new about buses. But they were great. They were very knowledgeable about New York, and they talked me through the itinerary I had set up a week before, so it absolutely would run smoothly. That had never happened in my 6 go-arounds in New York from here. So that was a first, and that paid off. Another thing is my good friend, Mrs. Sainer, is a master planner. She's master at loading procedures, packing, organizational things like bus supplies, student psychology, and many other things that I just don't have the capacity in my brain to handle, and she does it perfectly, and the trip would not have gone well without her. So she just handles so many of the details that are things I don't think of. I think big picture, she thinks detail, and we're a good team, and I'm going to miss her. But she really made the thing go. Also, we had great bus leaders. We have one here. She was awesome. And so all of these things just made it a fantastic trip. As always, I want to thank the administration and the school board for always supporting these trips. I see a lot of benefit from it, even though it seems like an extravagance type thing. It's great experiences for the students. There was a lot of work from the administrators to make sure everyone was passing their classes and everybody was going to class and kept the students eligible to go on the trip. And Mr. Schaffner was a big part of that. So was Mr. Thierry and Mr. Ely. They also had to follow up on people. But there's another person I want to thank, Laura Fujina. If you don't know who that is, she's right across from Mr. Thierry and Mr. Schaffner. She is kind of the brains for all the athletic things and activities, and she was in charge of collecting all the money or tracking the money and putting it in a grid, and that was a major thing that she did for us, and always gave us monthly reports, who had paid this much and who had, and again, we were able to follow up with students and say, hey, you still need to pay some money. So we couldn't have done it without her. So just all in all, it's a team effort because everybody supports what we do, and we feel that. I think Mr. Coe, I don't want to speak for him, but I feel he feels the same way, that we always get a ton of support from the administration, the school board, and the parents, and that's why this works so well. So thank you again.
That was an awesome logistical brief, for sure, from start to finish. But I want to thank you. You do such a good job. When you walk through the high school and your folks are practicing, it's like that little delight of a lift, like you get when Willy Wonka and there's the bubbles, but there's no fan on top spinning. Every time your guys
You'd be surprised how many people get decapitated in our program now.
Is that a closed meeting later?
That's a metaphor.
But you do such a good job, so thank you for everything you do. Top of the Rock, not a lot of railings, right? Like, how did the students do that?
They have,
Oh, they
yeah,
do now?
glass, yes. And, yeah, there were a couple that, okay, I've had enough, I'm going back down, and that's fine. But, or in some occasions, we say, I don't want to go up, and we say, I don't think we had anybody balk this time, but in the past, we've had that, so, and it's fine.
Thank you.
Richard, these are such eye-opening experiences for students, you know, to leave little Onalaska, right, and go to one of the world's largest cities and experience like art at its highest level. So thanks for your support. I know it's a team, right, but that team needs a captain leading the charge, you know, and a lot of support. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great rest of the night.
All right.
You too.
And now we'll welcome Mr. Coe. And we're going to hear a little bit more about a trip request for a student trip to Florida in the spring of 2027.
All right. As you know, we, the band program and the choir and orchestra program rotate trips every other year. So last year I took the band to Chicago. This year the choir went to New York. Next year is our typical Florida trip. What we've put together is 4 days in Florida, busing included, going down, coming back. One thing that I've tried to do over the last several years is make it where the parents can drop their kids off on the first day and pick them up on the last day and not worry about anything. So all the meals are included, all the activities. They don't have to worry about bringing extra spending money. The money will be given to them on the day of, so there's no chance of them overspending and then not having money at the end of the trip. That's something that we try to do to make sure that they have everything that they need and chaperones aren't having to pay for meals and things. I just found out, I applied to Disney World earlier because you have to get in there on a certain date in order to beat other bands. We send 2 videos, so I sent our Chicago trip from last year where we marched on the Magnificent Mile, and then I sent Oktoberfest this year to Disney World, and we were accepted. So we'll be marching at one of the parks. Generally for out of state, they like to have them march through Magic Kingdom. If you follow us on Facebook at all, you'll see the last time we went, the picture of the band with the castle behind it. So it's a really neat experience for the students. Very short in terms of parades. La Crosse has the longest parades on earth from start to finish. I mean, we're marching for an hour. And most parades are usually the bands march for 15 or 20 minutes and then you're done. So it's a little bit more typical to that, but they stop the whole park. You go down the main street, they block it off. So you're kind of the center of attention. So it's a really neat experience for our students. Along with that, I'm looking into playing at Clearwater Beach. We do kind of a pep band the first day. So it's a 28-hour bus ride straight through. With just stops for meals. When we get there, we'll unload equipment, we'll play at the beach, and then we spend the afternoon at the beach. I found that's the best thing to do because those that are really crabby can take a nap, and the ones that are ready to go can hang out at the beach and swim and go fishing. I've had students fish off the piers before, which is a neat experience because not everybody has seen the ocean. So that's kind of an interesting thing. One of the things that I always like to remind students and parents is when I was in high school band, one of the best memories I have are the trips that we took. We went to Florida twice and DC. The friends that I went, the pictures that I look back at. And for some of our students, this will be the first time that they've left the state. It'll be the first time that they've left without parents. And for some of them, it might be the only time that they leave our state to experience places beyond Wisconsin. So I think we do a lot to try to make the trip meaningful, squeeze as much as we can in, make sure that they're very tired so they go to bed at night and they're ready to do it all again the next day. So our trip this year, as Richard said, both of us do all the planning, so we don't go through tour coordinators. It's all the 2 of us. So it's going to cost $1,700. I broke that up into several payments. Families can break it up even more if they want through the online paying system. But when I went to calculate how much it would cost for an individual to go in a family of 4, they're saving about $700 or $800 to still do this. I was concerned with busing that flying might be cheaper. Flying is not cheaper. It's still significantly more expensive. But I thought about it for a hot minute. I'm thankful that I wasn't Sparta when they got trapped down in Florida. So, any questions that you have for me?
None here.
I would just add the trip goes into spring break, so students end up missing Friday,
Yep.
Monday, Tuesday. They
Yeah,
come back
so
on Thursday and
do
then
the
well
minimal-
rested by the following Tuesday.
Yes, and plenty of time to do their homework when they return so that they're ready to go for school.
Good recap. Anybody have any questions?
Just curious how many students typically participate?
Generally for the band program, it's about 90% to 95% of the students. So I estimate the trip off of 80. And there's 113 in band. So if I fill the buses more, then the trip cost goes down. And we have in the past, I've given refunds back to families or extra spending money on the trip, which I anticipate will have more students than 80 go on the trip.
Thank you.
So there's no cap. Whoever is,
Nope.
if they all want to go, they can go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if every student wants to go on the trip, they can. And our boosters work pretty hard to make sure if there are some financial need that we do what we can to help support it or extend payments and take care of it from that end.
I'll make the request to approve the student trip to Florida for the OHS band program in the spring of 2027.
Second.
Motion by Bridget, seconded by Ann to approve the trip request from Mr. Coe for student trip to Florida for the band in the spring of 2027. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have a great trip.
All right, thank you.
We'll move now into administrator reports, and we'll start with Mr. Chef.
Just a reminder, Karina's in Washington DC for the National 4-H Conference today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, thus her absence. Coming up in the beginning of May, we have 5 of our math teachers presenting at the State Math Conference. Their topic is the topic of engagement in the secondary classroom, looking at lots of the changes that they've done in the last 2 to 3 years, and specifically this year really focusing on how we have students set vertical whiteboards around the classroom and what that does to the learning environment. So they're excited to present, and I'm excited for them to do so. The other piece is that this evening I'll be leaving shortly because Dancing with the O Club Stars starts in less than an hour. I think the neatest thing about it, there's over 70 students that are part of the performance tonight, whether they're an active participant, whether they're one of the professional dancers, male or female, or whether they're the people doing the commercials or the emceeing or all the different pieces part of it. Absolutely outstanding thing. And what I love about it, it puts lots of kids in uncomfortable positions of doing something that they're not used to doing. And I think that's an awesome growing experience, a great healthy risk to take by being one of the amateur dancers on stage. So.
Are you in the lineup at all?
I am not. That mistake was made about 10 years ago.
Well, there you go, so you can cross him off the list for tonight.
Jana, middle school.
In the spirit of math, we also, our students took a math contest, and our OMS students either got first or second place in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for our region, and our region is half of the state. So it's awesome that our students are performing so well in these contests like the spelling bee like we heard today in our state math contest. Our spring sports have started and are in full swing. We have boys tennis, girls softball, and boys and girls track and field. Both the boys and girls track and field won the GET Invitational last Thursday, which was awesome. The girls dusted, as the kids say, the competition, and the boys squeaked out a win. So we're happy to report that. And then tennis and softball start competitions this week. Something new that we're doing for this year is we're looking at targeted support for 8th graders in academic behaviors. A lot of times we focus on the social behaviors, but we're focusing on some targeted support for academic behaviors, such as study skills, organization, and use of their planner as they transition to 7th grade. And middle school gets to be more of like junior high as we're getting them ready for high school. We want them to have some of those academic behaviors that are essential as they go through the next 6 years in our school system. So we're working on building up and creating good habits as they transition into 7th grade.
Thank you. Todd.
All right, our latest round of Ames Web screening has taken place. That's with kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders. And so those reports are out, and our personal reading plans are also updated, and those have been sent out as well. Excitement for our 5th graders as they begin all their transition pieces to 6th grade, but band and orchestra instrument tryouts. I know ours are happening tomorrow. I'm not sure when the rest of you guys are happening, but it's always a fun time to hear the squeaks and squawks coming from the room. Severe Weather Awareness Week is this week, so we'll be having a tornado shelter drills, and we might have severe weather tonight, sounds like. But anyway, so those things are happening across the buildings. In terms of some individual building things, for Northern Hills, we've got kindergarten and 5th grade concerts next week. At Eagle Bluff, we've got on the April 24th, it's kind of a fun day for us. We've got a wings card assembly. Those are the tokens of acknowledgement for positive behavior in our school. And so as students are earning those, they are putting those tickets into boxes that are designated for different games that will be happening during this assembly. So we'll pull out of there and we'll do some fun things with the students on that day. And that night is Family Bingo night, so it's going to be a fun day on the 24th for us. Do you want me to talk about Perch too, or do you want to? You can go ahead.
Sure.
All right.
So at Perch, we are looking forward to having Terry Visker at Irving Perch. She's a local storyteller, so she's going to be coming to share some stories with our kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then 4th and 5th
to get them excited about storytelling, but also connection between our units of study in CKLA too. So looking forward to that on Friday.
Fantastic. Do you have any questions for group? Okay. We'll move on then to a moment for appreciation. Eric, I want to be the first, and anyone else is welcome to comment, but thank you for your contributions and effort to be part of this board for the last 3 years. Always been very thoughtful and insightful and committed to the mission, right? Which I think all of us sitting here understand is much greater than any of us sitting here. Right? So thank you for that. I know that Kristen has, on our behalf, taken the steps to compile both a certificate of
thank you.
thanks as well as some goodies for you to take home.
And Jared will dance tonight. There was one request.
If you wish. But
No, thank you, everybody. So I really appreciate it. I arrived here and I didn't intend to stay in Onalaska. I arrived as an Army guy selected for battalion command at Fort Polk, Louisiana, as a Midwestern guy. That's not ideal. I guess this is being recorded. It's just not ideal, is what we'll say about Fort Polk. But I stayed here because of the people in this room and the educators. That was the reason I stayed. So I'm thankful for that because I connected with my family in a way I wouldn't have. But had it not been for the excellence just resident in the district, and you get a sense for that after a certain amount of years when you're around something that's just really special. And it was immediately that way around the district. I ran when I was still in the Army, and the lawyer told me I couldn't do that. So I had to, that's why, that first year I had to, I'm sorry, please don't vote, because it turns out that's not legal in the Army. But I came back just to be around everybody here because it's just absolutely incredible. Your names are stitched on the inside of the jersey of my kids as they go forward into the world. You've shaped the clay that is them, and together they go forward like we've done that as parents and teachers and administrators. You guys resource the educators, and that's just such an awesome high five. I mean, everyone here has shaped my kids' lives in really tangible ways. And we can say, board members, you rely on it's not a bad thing to have a kid in the district because I have personal, heartfelt touch points with my children have been in some of the offices of people in this room, right? And then that's been handled with such gentle care. I had a coworker who struggled through cancer, and she had this, at that school like grabbed her kids up and loved them. So like the kind of stuff that happens here is just absolutely amazing. So thank you. Everyone, excellence is ordinary around the table, so thank you. And I want to thank you. I think a very young perspective can be that expertise and time is a negative, and those are often darts tossed from the outside when it benefits a person. But from the inside, she shepherded us and guided us through that past year, and there's been a lot of, probably for everybody, like turbulence in the past year, and I think without Anne's experience, without her focus, you cast a light for everybody, and I think you protected processes and paths. It would have just been an entirely different year. And sometimes you don't know when things would have been bad because they're not, but I think that would have been really hard. Like the old truth is that we count on experience when chips are down, and your experience was really important, so thank you. Kristen, holy cow, like you have one of those vital positions that it has to make sure all the trains run well and efficiently. But if one thing's wrong, everyone notices, but when it's perfect, nobody does. So just thank you for everything you do to make everything work with all of us. Anyone that's ever gotten a note, like on behalf of the board or Flower, it's all from Kristen. Like she does all that work. So just thank you so much for everything you do. I wouldn't say effortlessly because I know how much work it is. So maybe quietly, you make everyone look really, really good in all of this work. Your fingerprints on everything the district does, so thank you. And then I found an email yesterday, because when you go through emails when you're like closing things out, I guess. I sent a note and it applies to I sent a note to DJ, Linda, and Christopher a little bit ago. Just a quick note to thank you for the countless actions, large and small, that you individually and collectively undertake to make these concerts be as beautifully expressive as they unfailingly are. I cannot begin to imagine the amount of effort that underpins the evening. As a board member and dad, thank you. So like that to everybody here. To the degree I could have been more effective in board meetings, it's because I haven't gotten over the wonder in every board meeting of like, damn, that is amazing. And then it's just every person. It's just, I want to blame my lack of effectiveness on that. But yeah, thank you. You're the reason I chose to retire and spend time with my family. You're the people who've shaped my children, and you're the people who've taught me how much work is done here. I'll run again, so thanks for letting me serve. And Tisha's awesome. So thanks, everybody.
Well, Eric, I just wanted to say I really appreciated your thorough and thoughtful evaluation of policies, being on the policy committee with you.
Sure. Yeah,
Lots of good stuff there. Thanks.
I self-deprecating, talking about your effectiveness. I appreciate your effectiveness, your point of view, your willingness to share that, your willingness to listen always, and your willingness to persevere when they said no, and then you came back anyway the next year. So thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you won't be a stranger.
Yeah, thanks, Ann.
All right, we'll move to, and with, it's always an interesting transition from something like that. Again, Eric, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
We do have election results to report, and I served on the Board of Canvassers, which are also serviced by two other members of the community. I did that because our clerk was also on the ballot. So I'm just going to report on the results of the election, and these are the certified results as undersigned by the members of that Board of Canvassers who met earlier ahead of this meeting to certify the tabulations. Tisha Marshik received 2,841 votes, and Brian Hayes received 2,484 votes. So, and that's undersigned by Melissa DeBoer, Kim Erickson, and myself here on the 13th of April. We'll move next into a discussion on early college credit program and turn it over to Lish.
Thank you. You may recall that twice a year our high school credit review committee meets to review requests that students may have for coursework that they want to take either at one of our four-year universities local, that would be the early college credit program, or at one of our two-year colleges, that's the Start College Now applications. So as you can see, we have a handful of students that are requesting to pursue either math, physics, or computer science courses at UW-La Crosse. Of course, that depends on them being able to meet the criteria to be admitted to the university and fitting it within their high school schedule as well. And then we have 14 students who are requesting to take the CNA course at Western, and one requesting to take the EMT basic course at Western. And of the students that are taking the CNA and EMT, those fit really nicely in with their four-year plans and their career paths that they are interested in pursuing after college. On the second page is the overview of the amount that has been approved and then the amount that we have actually spent on the early college credit program and the Start College Now programs. And though it might look like we're not spending very much money on this, it's because over the years we've really grown and expanded our options for our students to take at the high school. So very proud of the options we have, but also proud that we have a path for students when they have expended all of those options at our high school as well.
Good, thank you. Sonia, update on the employee handbook for 26-27.
Sure, there are not a lot of changes to the handbook this time, but as you'll see in the attachment, the first two pages are really tracking all of the changes that are throughout the handbook. I just want to highlight really three of the more larger ones, I guess if you want to call it that. The first one is as we evaluate our paid time off for our school year staff, we want to continue to add that flexibility. So making the recommendation to transition additional personal days and less leave days. So if you recall a couple years ago, we transitioned to 2 personal days for teachers and 10 leave days. Our proposal is to start that with 8 and 4. Same number of days, just different buckets. And then moving along to 6 and 6 after 5 years, and then 9 and 4 after 10 years. Staff will still be able to roll over 5 each year. If they have more than that, they move back to that sick leave bank. So they're never losing any more, just gaining more flexibility. One thing as we're transitioning with this, the school year, the staff who do our year-round also receive vacation. So they're receiving 3 different types of leaves. What our suggestion is to eliminate personal days for them and then just move those into vacation. So they only get sick and vacation. It's just ease of transition. The other 2 areas are regarding our teacher leader structure and our pay. We're doing a larger evaluation at the administrative level in looking at clearly defined roles and what those are and making sure they're equitable pay. And so to give us a little bit of flexibility, we're taking that portion out of the handbook and we'll do that through the budget process. And then the final larger change is as teachers earned additional credits, graduate level credits, they can increase their salary. We want to add a little bit more structure to that process. There are some institutions that are out there that maybe don't have as much as an integrity as we would like, and so putting some parameters around them.
It looks great, Sonia. I think those are all positive changes. I think in F12, I just spotted a little spelling error mix-up there, but just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a comment. I'm always very thankful that we keep kind of moving the needle forward, right? We're always looking to improve our situation as a preferred place of work locally. So thank you for the effort there. All right, now we have an update on board policies that are on for first reading and board consideration. Ben?
Well, I guess I'd defer to our board members that sit on that committee. We have a new practice where we break a batch of policies that brought forward from Neola into two, and this was the second grouping that we looked at. Many of these were related to financial policies, and Janet spent quite a bit of time working with Dave from Neola on that. We went through this at our policy committee, and we're bringing forward these recommendations as a first read. And if any board member has any questions on these or concerns related to these before our next meeting, we happily review those and refine as necessary.
Very good. So questions that we have can be routed to Ben.
Does Mark have?
No, I don't know that I necessarily have anything to say.
Okay.
We've taken plenty of time to evaluate all of these, and I think that the committee is comfortable with everything we have there.
Yeah, good. Eric, anything to add? Great, thank you. All right, team, we'll move on to action items, and we'll start with Sonia, a discussion on the teacher contract for this
So
year.
the teacher contract that's listed here, there are no changes outside of the dates.
I would make a motion that we approve the 26-27 teacher contract as outlined in enclosure 18 teacher contract.
I'll second.
Motion by Ann, seconded by Eric, to approve the 2026 teacher contract as detailed by Sonia and found in enclosure 18 teacher contract. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for your work on that. And that brings us to the consent agenda. Are there any requests to remove items from the consent agenda for separate consideration?
Could I please remove D just for a comment?
Request to move D for commentary. We'll take are there any other requests? Okay, we'll take items A, B, and C in bulk and then reserve D for separate consideration.
I would make a motion then to approve items A, B, and C of the posted consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Ann, second by Bridget, to approve items A, B, and C in the consent agenda. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those items are approved, and now we're to 19D.
Yeah, just those job descriptions for the people for our online school. I think that those job descriptions are very thorough, very complete, and it's an exciting step that we've reached that point. And see what's going to happen from there.
If the board approves, they'll be posted tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. Any other comments? This does require board approval.
I would move for approval of the consent agenda, item D.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Bridget to approve consent agenda item 19D. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that is approved.
Motion
We have
to-
no further business. Go ahead, Eric.
Go.
I'll do Brian. Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Eric, seconded by Brian to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.